What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with the one and only Doro Pesch. It is so great to be able to talk with you. Thanks for coming on to the show today. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to talk to you again. And I love New York, you know that. So
Yeah, it's so great to talk with
I'm
you again. I spoke with you for like 5 minutes on the Hall of Heavy Metal History at NAMM 2019. So to be able to catch up with you again, for more than 5 minutes, it's I could finally ask all the questions that I missed out on. Plus, talking about this new album.
cool. Yes, I'm ready, and I'm so excited to talk about it. So you can
Yeah.
imagine. And,
Well, first and foremost, like I love. First off, I love everything from the title, Conqueress Forever Strong and Proud. I think it's a fantastic album. I think that really promotes like positivity and great strength. Is it I was just wondering too, because when I listen to your work, whether it's Forever Warriors, Forever United, when you look at Raise Your Fists, when you look at Warrior Soul, it just seems like every album that you make is about like triumphing through pain and overcoming things at the top. Is this continuing in a similar vein?
absolutely. The most important things to me in my life, it is friendship and is fighting the good fight. So there's always, these two things. When I write songs, it's always about them, and of course, surviving, overcoming the pain, and doing the right thing. So that's what the whole album, what the whole 20 songs are about.
Yeah. I mean, and has that always been something you've wanted to do since you decided you were going to pursue the path of rock and roll? When you, even going back to the Warlock days with Burning the Witches, was that even always your vision?
Actually, maybe unconsciously, I never really thought about it. When I write songs, they really just pop out, like they come out of my heart, my soul, my gut. So it's not pre-planned ever. And back in the early 80s, we were doing more the evil stuff because we thought that's metal. So in the beginning it was not as positive as it is now, and it was more about the warlocks and witches and demons. And now it definitely has a deeper message, and it's only meant in a positive way, and giving people strength and hope and inspiration and power and energy. I always want to empower people, and I hope when they listen to the album that they feel that. And so, but it started actually when I went to New York in 86, 87. And I had only 3 days for a little promotion tour in New York. And after 2 days, I wanted to stay. And, I did everything I could to stay. And then everything fell into place, and I got hooked up with fantastic people. And one person who was very important to me, there was Joey Bannon. He was a musician, guitar player, played piano, and he showed me around New York City because my manager, Alex Grobe, at the time, he said, "Yeah, Doro, you should get to know, the record stores, which were open 24 hours back then, was unbelievable. And, and all the clubs." Yeah, and then we did everything, it was cool. And at about 2 o'clock in the morning, Joey said, "You want to see another club?" And I said, "Oh, Joey, you know what? I think maybe we should jam a little bit." He said, "All right." And then we went to his place and we jammed a little bit. And then we had our first song that was East Meets West of the Triumph and Agony album, which I still love so much. And and then I showed the song to my manager and I said, "Hey, the clubs were great, record stores were awesome, but I think we wrote a killer song." And I played it for him, and I said, "Hey, it seems you guys have good chemistry. Just like do some more stuff." And that's when the Triumph and Agony came about, and I stayed in New York, and it was a dream come true. And
And it's always a dream whenever you come to New York. We always love it when you're here. And going back to this sort of positive and energetic upbringing, because in the end we are all human and we all have our own means of suffering and trials through tribulations.
yeah,
So like,
yes.
does this positivity maybe come from your own quest, maybe your own journey of seeking that sort of energy, or is it almost kind of like your desire for it? Like it was this, were you writing before you achieved that strength or as a result of your strength in a way?
Well, I think what you just said is dead on. I think both. You know, it's every day is a hard fight, and then from all these years of doing it, so much experience. So it's definitely both. But I love people, and I want to give them something what they feel is worthwhile, something they can believe in. The whole world is so chaotic, everything changes so quickly, but they can always believe that I will do my absolute best for the fans, and I live for the fans, and I do everything what makes them feel good or feel like like that they can they feel strength, and but it is definitely both. Like I think I had my share of really turbulent times, and so but I could always learn from it, and I always felt stronger when I got out of it, and I want to definitely pass that on. And it's not, to me, music is not just writing a song. And of course there can be a great rock song, a great riff, great groove, but I always try to find something really meaningful, what I want to tell people, that they feel like they could feel they could listen for years and years to a song, and it makes them feel good and gives them strength.
Yeah, and as somebody who I just interviewed Dying Fetus, the death metal band, right before you, so the contrast is, I love it. Like their new album is called "Make Them Beg for Death," and just to hear you talk about this, I just love how you two are going to be next to each other on my YouTube channel. But you have so many albums out. I mean, from Rare Diamonds to Angels Never Die to Classic Diamonds, and so much more. Like, how do you almost stay inspired? Does the inspiration just strike you out of the blue, or do you have like a place you go to collect ideas?
Actually, the best way I feel is like when I fall asleep, or when I'm like early in the morning. That's that's wrong for me to say, because I always work at night, and then I try to sleep whatever, I wake up in the afternoon. But before I fall asleep, before I wake up, I always have the best ideas. And actually this morning I had an idea, and I thought, wow, I immediately wrote it down, and I sang it on my cell phone. And sometimes, I guess, when you're in a good state of mind, then when things just want to come out or pop out, I think that's the best way. Of course, you can sit down with your guitar player and write a great song. It's all possible, and I think every song comes out in a different way. But I like it when I have an idea, and when the chorus and the lyrics are coming out right away. And usually that is the case. I think I'm pretty good with choruses. And then I show it to a person which I think, maybe he likes it, and then when he says, oh, that's a great idea, let's, develop. And usually it's Andreas Brun. He's the ex-guitar player of Sisters of Mercy. We're a good team since 1996. And and then when I have some ideas which I really, really love, then I always, send it to him, or I go into a studio. He's in Hamburg, and and then we do something. And when I have a chorus idea with lyrics and melody, and when I feel, when I feel my heart is pumping, I feel it has some magic, then I think, it's definitely worth to work on it, and hopefully it will come out, or it will make the album. In the end, I always decide. Sometimes we have 40 ideas or 40 songs, and then I always pick like my absolute favorites. And this record, it has 20 songs again. The record company said at first, hey, not so many songs, like 10 songs are enough, because of this time with Spotify and stuff. And I said, well, people should listen to it over and over, and 10 songs is okay. And I said, no, not for me, man. Mm-hmm. I need to have at least 15, 16, and now it's 20 songs. But I think they're all killer songs. And of course, the duets I want to talk to you about later too.
Of course. We'll definitely talk about that as well. And it's also with the Sisters of Mercy collaboration too. I think that's also an appalling, or not appalling, but like a real interesting irony as well. But I did want to ask you this, going by Doro as the Metal Queen, as many people call you, and people think or feel like they do know you from, the music and the videos and the interviews and all this. Have you always felt that who we see on stage and who we hear in the album is almost in a way like a separate entity from who you are in your personal life? In a way, is music an escapism from who, I won't say who your real name is, but who is Doro, almost an alter ego outside of your personal life?
Actually, no. What you see is what you get. I think I'm the same person on stage and off stage, and there's not a big difference. Maybe when I'm on stage, I have a little bit more whatever studs and leather jackets on and my bullet belt or something, but usually I'm pretty much the same. And yeah, and it's yeah. I never faked anything. I never thought of like portraying something, other than what I am. So it's all like, yeah, you get the whole deal. Either you like it or, some people have different tastes. That's okay too. But I do it for people who love it, and I'm always my old little self. Yes.
And I do want to go back, turn the clock back a little bit, because with next year marking 40 years of Burning the Witches, what was your sort of memory behind that? The first time we ever heard the voice of Doro.
Oh man, I tell you, I wanted to do metal since I was a very young child. Actually, when I grew up, there was no metal. I grew up in the glam rock times, and I always wanted to do music. And the first person I've heard, which totally, got me hooked on music, it was Little Richard, and the song was Lucille, and it had so much power and energy. And I thought, yeah, I wanna become a singer. And I was 3 years old, and then, yeah, when I grew up a little bit, then I grew up in the glam rock times, and then in 1980 I had my first band that was called Snakebite, then Beast, then Attack, then Warlock in 1982, and yeah, and actually, when we started our band, we didn't even know that it was metal. It was so new and stuff, and there weren't any magazines. There were maybe some little fanzines, but it was sometimes handwritten notes and then photocopies. So we practiced every day. That was our rule, every day. And then we had some fans coming in, and then suddenly people said, "Hey, you're a great heavy metal band." And we thought, "Are we? Okay." And then we became a heavy metal band. We had no idea. We were just doing what came out, and was super heavy, fast, but we always had some soulful ballads as well. And yeah, and then I saw my first bands I think was in 1980. It was Whitesnake, which was unbelievable. Oh my God. And then the second concert was Judas Priest and Accept opening up. And then my third concert was Ronnie James Dio. And yeah, and then I knew, man, we were a metal band, and I had the great chance to work with everybody, like from Dio and Lemmy, and now 2 duets with Rob Halford on this new upcoming album. I can't believe it. It's so amazing to me. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. Because it was my very first big tour in 1986 in Europe with Judas Priest.
That's a fantastic. It's funny. I have yet to see Judas Priest. That is going to change very soon. But I wanted to ask you about that because your collaboration in your duet with Rob Halford, you both have your own distinct voices that really just make everything you sound so like. There is not a voice like Rob Halford out there, and there isn't a voice like yours. And you have different ranges. So the question I wanted to ask first with this duet was, did both of you kind of have to be in the same headspace with the making of Total Eclipse of the Heart? Did you almost have to like be in the same emotional state of mind or feel the same energy? Or being that you're so different from each other that you didn't have to put yourself in each other's shoes in a way?
Yeah, actually, I quickly tell you the story, how it came about. So when we first toured in 1986, we really became friends, and it was awesome. And I've seen Priest so many times, and I did a cover of Breaking the Law with Udo Dirkschneider, the ex-singer of Accept.
Just spoke with him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, cool. I love Udo. And yeah, and then we always met at great festivals, and we were talking and hanging out backstage. And then last year we played a festival called Hellfest in France. big festival. It's the size of Wacken. It's like, I think, 80,000 people and great bands, great festival. So we were doing Hellfest and we were talking a little bit backstage. And then Rob asked me what I'm doing. And I said, yeah, just doing the new album, and album is almost done and celebrating my 40th anniversary soon. And then I looked at Rob and he said, I know what you want to say. And I said, hey, Rob, wouldn't it be great to do a song together? He said, absolutely, let's do it. It's about time. And then he said, what would you like to do? And I said, Rob, there's one song I always sang in the early 80s. That was before we had Triumph and Agony out, before we sang All We Are with everybody. When I was on tour with other bands or we did festivals, we always said, let's share the stage, the last song, let's do something together. And then we said, what song? And, I said, hey, let's do Living After Midnight. And I even have some videos of it. It's hilarious, from the early 80s. So we always did either Breaking the Law or Living After Midnight. And I said, hey, Rob, I would love to do Living After Midnight. That would be my wish. He said, that's cool, let's do it. And he said, I have a song I always wanted to do with you. And I said, really? And I said, what is it? He said, Total Eclipse of the Heart. And I thought, wow, I never thought of that. And it's a Jim Steinman production. And I knew the song from Bonnie Tyler. And wow, and I thought, wow, that's a big one. So we first did Living After Midnight. And then I put it on the album and stuff. And then there was an email and Rob said, hey, what is about Total Eclipse of the Heart? And I went back into the studio, do my vocals, send it. And it was actually a team effort between Rob Halford and Andy Sneap, my guy Andreas Brun, and myself, and then we mixed it, and then it made the album and 2 duets. I tell you, I couldn't ask for more in my life. I'm so, I think I definitely lived my dream, like working with so many great people, and now that's the icing on the cake with Rob Halford, the 2 duets, and I guess it comes full circle from our first tour in '86, which was actually for us a big thing. It opened doors, and then a couple of months later I could go to America doing this promotion tour. And now doing the 2 duets with Rob. You cannot imagine how I feel.
I normally save this question for the end of the interview. I have 2 more questions if that's cool, but I normally save this in the end. But you've lived so many great dreams that many young metalheads just wish that they could live. Like, you continue to make music. Like, I think you have one of the most expansive discographies of anybody in metal. Where do you go from here at this point? Like, how do you I did ask, like, how do you stay inspired in a way, but you've almost checked off every aspect on the list. Is there any other goals that you're sort of searching for yourself in a way?
Actually, I tell you, if it would go the way it's going, and that I can do a great tour, I can play great festivals, do 20 more records with maybe special guests, which I don't know yet. But I would love to continue and always give my best and always try to make people happy, and rock them hard. And and there's actually nothing else in my world what I love doing more than being on stage, rocking out with the fans, doing music, writing songs. It's the ultimate. And then having the chance to work with great people like Rob Halford, and I was on tour with Dio and working in the studio with Lemmy, and my producer it was just called Doro. I was a big Kiss fan growing up, so Gene Simmons produced one of our records in 89, 90. I tell you, I don't even know why I'm so lucky, but I tell you, it's awesome. So if it would continue like that, and I, besides doing music, I love animals, and that's the only thing what I miss. Like when you're on tour, like every year, it's impossible to have pets, and I love dogs and horses, and I'm always, like connected with people who save, who rescue, animals from a bad situation. So I want to do more of this, and and then I couldn't ask for more. It's all great, and I hope, of course, that the people will love this album. We have many more videos in the making. Actually, we just did a video for Children of the Dawn. It's the first song on the album. That's one of my favorites. And I don't know if you guys checked out Time for Justice. Did you see that video?
That I didn't see the video yet, but god damn, that song is a
Oh,
banger. Oh my god, that is so good. That might
check
be
out
your
the
one of
video.
your best songs ever. Like, I'm not even kidding. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, then you guys have to check out the video. It looks like a little Mad Max movie. It's so cool. It's so awesome. And yeah, definitely check it out on YouTube. And it's all for free, so it's definitely worth seeing. And yeah.
Definitely. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time, and most of all, just thank you, not even just for this new album, but for giving us the music that has connected with so many metal fans. You know, when we hang out in the heavy metal bars in Brooklyn, whether it be Lucky 13 or Duff's, or you know, we go to the Rainbow,
Oh, yeah.
or we go to the
love
Rainbow,
it.
and we go to the Rainbow in Los Angeles. Like, you know, your spirit is always there. Like, you're part of the DNA of the metal scene that we know is today, and we're very grateful for all you've contributed. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote for the release of this new album, and what else, and anything else you would like to shout out?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for these kind words. I'm blown away, and I feel the same. And you know, I lived 25 years in New York. I still love New York so much, and now I moved to Florida, but I still have a little thing in New York. And yeah, I want to say hi to all my New York friends, my fans all over America. I love America. It's the best country in the whole world. I really think, you know, with all the whatever, you know, I know everybody has like lots of problems, but worldwide, I think America is the best, and I love touring there. I hope I will see everybody soon. We will play many festivals. Actually, next year in Texas, we are starting in March. In White Oak, and then many more festivals to come. So I hope you guys coming out to see the show and see us live. And I hope you love and enjoy the record. I think it's killer. And yeah, and I, you know, wish everybody the best. Stay healthy, stay metal, keep on rocking. Lots of love and all that good stuff.
The beautiful thing about heavy metal is that it serves as the soundtrack to when we are facing our problems, when we deal with our darkness, but you are the soundtrack to when we escape it and overcome it. And I think that's what is the most metal thing you could do, is not harness the darkness, but overcome it. And I think that that's what you are the soundtrack to creating. So really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and hope to see you live soon. And yeah, and enjoy the album Conqueress Forever Strong and Proud. It's coming out 27th of October. So
you just said my outro line. You just said my outro line. So perfect. But thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Queen Doro. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alex.